Welcome back to another episode of MDH Minute. I'm Patrick Osterman. Our guest today has been mentioned many times on MDH Minute, and now we are pleased to be joined by our Vice President, Chief Nursing Officer, and our Incident Commander, Wanda Foster. Wanda, COVID's been discussed many times during our MDH Minute interviews. Since the Incident Command structure was implemented last March, much has been accomplished within the organization. But in some aspects, it feels like we're just getting started. So can you put into words what being Incident Commander has been like?
That's a hard thing to do. This whole experience has just been surreal, exciting, overwhelming at times. All in all, it's been a very positive experience to watch our entire team move through these steps together. And I think that the biggest takeaway is we're coming away more united, more stronger. Our sense of team is phenomenal.
I want to come back to your team comment there because that's a great point. For me personally, as part of the Incident Command structure, I've noticed a team-centered approach. Everyone doing their job, and the cohesion during those planning meetings, I think, is something you can look back on and be proud of. In my opinion, that framework and that foundation built during those early meetings helped us get to where we're at right now.
It did. The framework, we learned the framework, ironically, 2 weeks before we went into Incident Command for the pandemic. And we followed the rules of the framework for the first couple weeks, and then we really engaged in the framework. And I think once we really engaged and we got our cadence down, we were doing it with ourselves as a hospital, we were doing it through our EOC as an entire county, and the process worked, and the camaraderie that was built then is what's sustaining us now.
Well, during our prior MDH Minutes, Brian Dietz and I have discussed many topics surrounding COVID-19 and hospital operations. But let's discuss the latest news, the soon-to-be home of McDonough County Health Department COVID-19 vaccination clinics, right here at MDH.
Yes.
How gratifying has it been to be a part of this mass distribution of COVID-19 vaccine and knowing that you were playing a vital role in this key event?
Unbelievable. It just happened to work out that we had some space that we vacated for about the next 6 months due to some construction noise that will be happening in that building. The perfect setup. And so we're so excited that the McDonough County Health Department can just kind of move right into that. We have access to public transportation with the West Bus stopping outside the building. We have a nice place for registration. We have independent, privately spaced rooms for immunization, and then a wonderful auditorium for observation for our patients, for their patients. So we will certainly help them supplement with staffing as needed, and it just worked out beautifully.
Well, in parking too, you got ample parking
Yes.
out there, handicap accessible parking as well. So
Right.
really just a great location that, as you said, just happened to be open, and from the timing aspect of it, you couldn't time it any better with how we are in phase 1B, getting ready to distribute that
Right.
COVID vaccine.
In fact, I'm going to be working with Ben on some logistics of it tonight. I think we have each other on speed dial, getting things ready. So.
Well, you mentioned the health department. They're currently running point on all the vaccine distribution. But let's say MDH gets direct vaccine distribution from the state or the federal government. What is your level of confidence that MDH can effectively run a COVID vaccine clinic?
I am very confident that we can support the efforts of the health department and expand capacity for the county. We have, for many years, had other large clinics, like for influenza, that we had experience with. We have given about 700 COVID immunizations over the last 6 weeks, so we've gotten to ramp up slowly. We've gotten to tweak our process, what worked well, what can we improve, and now the health department will be going much larger, and we'll learn from them. So we have strong shoulders to build upon, and the key is getting the vaccine. Once it's here, we will all work together and make sure it's administered efficiently and safely.
Well, and that's, if there's any one frustrating part about all this, it's you can't properly plan ahead because week to week, you don't know how many vaccine doses you're going to get.
And we hate to schedule appointments and have to cancel people. That's the difficult piece.
Well, hopefully as we get more into this vaccination become more and more available, hopefully we'll be able to have more clinics and be able to get more people vaccinated. But again, it's one of those wait and see approaches. Hope for good things to come about with all this.
Yeah, patience is the key.
So the soon to be completed drive-through building, we're a few weeks away from that. How is that building going to be an asset for the hospital dealing with COVID?
Well, as you know, we've been using the tent since last April, and that's worked well for our COVID testing. We endured the summer heat, and now we have the winter chill. We certainly tried to keep it as temperature controlled as you can keep a tent. But the new building just is a whole new day. And we will have the availability, the capacity to have at least 6 cars in there at one time. And depending on how we set it up, what our need is, we can use it for drive-through COVID vaccine screening or immunization. We can use it for COVID testing. We'll be able to resume lab draws. Certain lab draws can be done there. So we'll have a much greater capacity and a much better facility for our patients and staff. And
if we get more vaccine, that's just another location that we can use as a distribution point. So really giving us 3 different ones on campus that we've already used. Absolutely. The hospital, health services building 1, and then the MDH drive-through building. And we're learning and studying the best practice from other places that are currently doing drive-throughs. Well, without a doubt, this is certainly an exciting time for us at the hospital, but it's also for the residents of the county. Because as our vaccine becomes more available, more people able to get those doses in their arms. That's right. Well, Wanda, I want to thank you very much for your time today. You are welcome. Thank you. And these vaccines are a bridge to normalcy, so we will make it. That is a great point to close out on. For the latest COVID vaccine information, log on to mdh.org or follow along the MDH Facebook page or also the McDonough County Health Department website page.